My girlfriend was trying to get pregnant, and,
Okay.
And I told her I saw a girl, and she got pregnant with a girl.
I mean, the girl boy 50-50, so it's not that impressive.
I have decided to become a psychic, and I couldn't be happier with the results. Ever since I became a psychic, I've won the lottery, bought my dream house, and now I've been slaying mad pussy every single day. But it wasn't easy for me to harness this awesome power. It took a lot of trial and error. Fortunately for you though, you have me. And I'm here to teach you the way of the psychic. So sit back, relax, and get ready to open your mind to a new plane of existence. Step 1. The devil is in the details. Ever heard that saying before? Well, I don't actually know what it means, but I'm assuming it means details are bad, because that's what the devil is. This is the fundamental guiding principle of being a psychic. You have to be incredibly vague. You see, if you go ahead firing predictions to someone like, you and your future boyfriend are going to get married on this day, on this month, on this year, then there is a good chance you're going to get the prediction wrong. Through no fault of your own. You see, the reason you get specific predictions wrong isn't because you're a massive fucking scam artist like some haters will accuse you of being. No. The real reason is the psychic realm is a cloudy and mystic place, so even the best of us have trouble accessing full details of future events in our mortal forms. So instead of predictions like that, you'd be better off going with something like, you are going to find love in the foreseeable future. See, that's much more statistically likely, better, it's better. Maybe you're aiming a little higher as a psychic though than telling desperate lonely women about the relationship they're definitely going to have before their ovaries dry up. In which case, you may want to learn how to predict major world events. Well, the same principle applies. To illustrate this, let's take a look at the psychic OG himself, Nostradamus, who has predicted every major world event in history. For example, near the gates and within the cities, there will be 2 scourges the like of which was never seen. Famine within plague, people put out by steel, crying to the great immortal God for relief. Now this is how you do it. While to the untrained eye this may seem like some vague nonsense that's deliberately phrased that way so someone in the future can apply it to almost anything, to us knowing psychics, well, this is clearly supposed to predict the US dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan. In the place very near not far from Venus, the 2 greatest ones of Asia and of Africa, from the Rhine and Hister, they will be said to have come. Cries, tears at Malta, and the Ligurian side. I don't think I need to explain this one to you, it clearly predicts the rise of Adolf Hitler, but you get the idea. This is how you predict the future. The psychic realm isn't going to outright tell you that a future country called the United States of America is going to drop 2 massive fuck-off bombs from their future flying machines on Japan, nor is it going to tell us that a failed artist with a shit moustache is going to be responsible for the deadliest war in human history. No, the realm likes to titillate us, tease us a little, play with our I'm going too far with this metaphor, but you get the point. Sure, not a single one of his predictions have actually been used to accurately foresee any world events before they've happened, but they're great at predicting world events after they happen, and as a psychic, that's what you should aim to do. But being a psychic isn't all about predicting the future. You've also got to be able to read people in the present moment, which is why I'm going to perform a psychic reading for you right now, so you know how to do it yourself. You have a hard outer shell, but a soft inner shell. You may not always like to admit it, but you have a great need for people to like you and even admire you. You have a habit of being self-critical, and you also have a lot of untapped potential that you have yet to utilise, but while you may have some flaws, you generally make up for them as your positive traits outshine your negatives. Now, some of my critics have said that my readings are so fucking vague that they could be applied to virtually anyone. Step 2. Word of mouth does wonders. Now that you know how to predict the future and how to read people's minds, it's just a matter of getting the word out there. This is where you want to find some wide-eyed believers, people that already know the psychic realm exists and won't let any unhealthy skepticism beams throw off your psychic energy. So when looking for your first customers, this is a good time to hit up that crazy bitch from college that believes she has a third eye. Or really anyone that uses the phrase, "I'm not religious, but I am like, kind of spiritual." These people are going to be your main customer base. Now, like the name of this step implies, once you've impressed these people with your mind-bending powers, you're going to want to ask them to spread the word around. The great thing about these kinds of people is that they have a wonderful habit of embellishing the truth, making your powers seem even more unbelievably amazing than they already are. I did a cold read, a psychic reading the other day, and I got about 90% of the information incorrect, sure. But they're not going to include that part when telling others about it. They'll cut the filler parts out of the story for you. And if I have to be wrong 90% of the time in order to get that 10% of truth, well then that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. The point is, they'll help spread the word around. Maybe they'll be into this shit enough themselves where they'll just start making up stories for you. And while it may not be the most honest advertising on the planet, at the end of the day, what is? We've all got our hustle, and if truths have to be exaggerated here and there in order to introduce new people to your psychic gift, then really it's worth it for their sake. Otherwise, they could have gone their whole life without having the privilege of experiencing your amazing talent. This talent does come at a price though, which leads me to step 3. Step 3, we're in the money, come on my honey. You have to understand that the psychic realm is a massive fan of capitalism. So if you're not charging people for your services, then you are offending the psychic realm. As a psychic, it is your moral duty to charge people vast quantities of money whenever you can. Now you can't just start off charging people the big bucks, of course, you have to work your way up. I wasn't always charging people 300 quid a session, but I generally find the more clout you have, the more shit you can get away with. Some psychics like to make their money by telling their clients if they do not keep giving more and more money to them, then things are going to go poorly for the client. But what you have to understand about this kind of behaviour though is that it's absolutely the right thing to do. You see, the psychic realm takes bribes, but it doesn't have a mortal form. Therefore, we must accept the bribes on the psychic realm's behalf. So next time someone calls you a hack fraud piece of shit, you let them know that you're no scam artist, you're just based. Me personally though, I'm taking a page out of Nostradamus' book, and by that I mean I'm writing my own book filled with my predictions for things to come. I don't want to give away too much as I'm selling this for 79 quid once it's out, but I'm sure I can give you guys a little preview. On the turn of a new decade, the songs of birds will no longer be heard, as an unseen force disrupts the planet. The foolish shall cry, the weak shall die. What the fuck is that supposed to predict, you ask? Well, I'll let you know after it happens, if I'll still be alive, otherwise someone else can do it for me. So now you know how to harness psychic powers, you know how to get people interested in your abilities, and you know how to make that sweet, sweet dough, which means you're ready. Congratulations. But before you go, there is one last thing I'd like to say. Welcome to the Thieves Guild.